All right, are you ready to dive into like a total mystery?
Yeah.
This time we're tackling the Voynich Manuscript,
Oh, yeah.
which has been like baffling experts for centuries.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle box
Uh-huh.
that we just don't have the key to.
Right.
It's handwritten, it's full of these bizarre illustrations,
Mm-hmm.
and it's written in a script that no one has been able to decipher.
Yeah, it dates back to the early 15th century, but honestly,
Yeah.
it feels like it could be from another world.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of what we're here to explore today.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll crack the code,
Right.
but
Let's see.
we're going to uncover some pretty fascinating insights about it.
Yeah.
Maybe shift how you think about it.
Absolutely.
One of the most intriguing things about the Voynich manuscript is that even though we can't read the script,
Right.
there's like a strange sense of order to it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a language.
There is.
Wait, so there's a pattern to this gibberish.
Yeah.
How can that even be?
Well, so think about it. Like, languages have structures. They have rules about how words are used and things like that. And the Voynich manuscript, amazingly, follows some of these linguistic patterns.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So even though the words are a mystery,
Right.
the way they're arranged isn't just random.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not just a random sequence of symbols.
Oh.
There's actually a pattern there.
Okay.
For instance, there's something called Zipf's law.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, so Zipf's law basically says that in any language, the most common word occurs way more frequently than the second most common word,
Right.
and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So it creates this kind of like distribution
Yeah.
of word frequency, and this is a pattern that holds true across languages.
Wow.
English, Spanish, you name it.
And this Voynich script, which no one understands,
Right.
actually fits that pattern.
It does, yeah.
That's wild.
It's pretty amazing.
Is there anything else that points to it being like a real language?
Yeah, so there's another kind of analysis that we can do called entropy analysis.
Okay.
And this is a measure of randomness.
Gotcha.
And when we apply entropy analysis to the Voynich manuscript, what we find is that it falls somewhere between normal language and just complete chaos. Meaning there's structure there,
Yeah.
even if we can't decode it yet.
Okay, my brain is starting to hurt, but in a good way.
That's good. That's a good sign.
So if it's not just like gobbledygook, what are like the main theories? Is
Yeah.
it some super complex code?
Right.
Was it like a prank by like a bored medieval monk?
That's a common one. That's the hoax theory.
Yeah. Is that a popular one?
It is a popular one.
Yeah.
But I have to say, when you look at the manuscript and you see how intricate it is, it feels kind of unlikely that it was just a hoax.
I get that. I mean, even for a prank, wouldn't you kind of run out of steam after a couple pages?
Exactly. I mean,
This thing's like hundreds of pages long.
right. Yeah, it's dense.
Yeah.
It's a dense manuscript.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that the internal logic of the script
Right.
is consistent throughout the entire manuscript.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So it's not like somebody just made up a bunch of symbols and threw them on a page.
Right.
There's like a system there.
Yeah.
And the illustrations are also doubly woven into the text.
Right.
So it's not just like random pictures next to the text. They actually seem to relate to the content in some way.
It's like the creator was trying to like communicate something
It does feel that way.
very specific, even if we can't quite grasp it yet.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But knowing like the age of the manuscript, doesn't that give us some clues?
Well, we've used radiocarbon dating, which is like a really reliable way to date organic materials. And that tells us that the Voynich manuscript is from the early 15th century.
Okay, so mystery solved.
Yeah.
We know when it was made. End of story.
Not so fast.
Ooh.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The content of the manuscript doesn't actually quite line up with what we know about the 15th century.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's like finding a smartphone in a medieval castle.
Oh, wow.
Right, like it just doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
So, for example, some of the plant illustrations don't
Right.
actually match any known species.
Really?
Yeah, and then the astronomical diagrams
Right.
seem to show star arrangements that weren't documented back then.
Whoa. So that's crazy.
It is.
So the parchment's from the 15th century,
Yeah,
but the content feels like it's
out of place.
out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what are we left with?
So one possibility, and this is a pretty compelling one,
Yeah.
is that the Voynich manuscript is actually a copy
Oh, well.
of something much, much older.
Ooh, a copy. So
Yeah.
like finding a treasure map that leads to another treasure map.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, it could be from like a civilization lost to history,
Right.
but why would anyone copy something that they couldn't understand?
That's a good question. I think it's helpful to think about like an artist copying a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
So they can recreate the image without necessarily getting the deeper meaning.
Uh-huh.
And scribes in the Middle Ages did this all the time,
Okay.
especially if they were copying texts that were super specialized or in a language that they didn't know.
So someone stumbles upon this like ancient text,
Right.
and they're like, I got to copy this, even though I have no clue what it says.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that could explain why the Voynich script is so structured,
Right.
even if it's undeciphered, right?
Yeah.
Because it might be a faithful reproduction
Okay.
of a lost writing system
Wow.
from a time way before the 15th century.
Okay, so we've got like a possible copycat from the past,
Right.
maybe filled with knowledge or ideas from a forgotten civilization.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
It is exciting, but where do we even go from here?
Well, you sent us some research notes
Okay.
from someone named Arina, who took a really fascinating deep dive into the illustrations.
Okay.
And I think it might just hold some clues.
Wait, are we talking about the Aranaya,
The one and only.
who does all that groundbreaking work on ancient symbolism and interconnectedness?
That's her.
Because if so, I am so ready for this.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
And she took a totally unique approach to the manuscript.
Okay.
Really focused on the illustrations and their deeper meaning.
Okay.
And one of the things that she noticed was these cylindrical vessels that appear within the roots of the plant illustrations.
Vessels in the roots.
Yeah.
Okay, help me visualize this. I'm picturing tiny underground flower pots.
Not quite flower pots,
Okay.
but you're getting the idea.
Yeah, okay.
So these distinct cylindrical shapes
Ah.
that are woven into the plant's root systems.
Okay.
And here's the thing. The same shapes pop up later in the manuscript,
Oh,
but in a totally different context.
okay. I'm officially intrigued. Tell me more.
So after analyzing the plant section, Aranaya noticed these cylindrical vessels appear again,
Mm-hmm.
but this time they're connected to celestial bodies.
What, like stars and planets?
Stars, planets, exactly.
Okay.
And there are women emerging from these celestial vessels.
Ooh, celestial women coming out of like giant space pods.
Think of it less like space pods and more like
Okay.
cosmic wombs or like gateways between realms.
Okay.
It's as if these vessels are linking
Yeah.
the earthly realm of plants
Uh-huh.
to the celestial realm of stars
Okay.
and these mysterious beings.
Okay, my mind is officially doing backflips.
That's what we like to hear.
So we've got these vessels linking plants to stars,
Mm-hmm.
and women are emerging from them.
Yeah.
But like, what does it all mean?
So if you follow Aranaya's observations,
Yeah.
there seems to be a deliberate flow to the manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just random pages. There's an actual sequence.
Okay.
It starts with the earthly realm, right?
Okay.
Focusing on those roots.
Right, like setting the stage.
Yes.
Showing us like the foundation of life, the roots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then it shifts to the celestial realm,
Okay.
revealing the celestial beings
Mm-hmm.
emerging from those same vessel shapes
Right.
as if they're being born from the stars.
Wow.
And then it comes back to the earthly realm.
Okay.
But this time, those celestial women are depicted within the roots of the plants, as if they've descended
Okay.
and integrated with the earth.
So it's like a cycle then.
It is. It's like a cycle.
Earth to stars, back to Earth again.
Exactly.
But what's the significance of the women?
Good question.
Are they like cosmic gardeners or something?
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
So remember how we talked about the manuscript maybe being a copy of something ancient?
Right.
Well, in many ancient cultures,
Uh-huh.
women were often associated with fertility, creation, the life-giving forces of nature.
Like goddesses, Mother Earth figures.
Exactly.
that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so these celestial women emerging from the vessels, it's like they're representing these cosmic forces of creation.
Oh, okay.
The life energy
Yeah.
flowing from the stars
Right.
down to earth.
Nourishing and influencing life as we know it.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful concept, right?
Yeah. So the women are like messengers
Yeah,
bringing celestial energy to Earth.
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And notice how it all ties back to the vessels, right?
Right.
They seem to be the key element here.
Okay.
These containers of life force,
Mhm.
portals between realms.
Yeah.
They appear in the roots, they appear in the heavens,
Right.
and they're the bridge between the two.
It's like the manuscript is showing us like the blueprint
It could be.
for how life is like interconnected
Yeah,
across the cosmos.
that's a great way to put it, yeah.
This is blowing my mind
It's pretty amazing.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Are we saying that the Voynich Manuscript is like a guide to understanding the universe?
It might just be. It's a big claim, but I think it's worth considering.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to explore even more of Aranaya's fascinating insights
Okay.
after a quick break. So stay with us.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back and ready to explore even more of this like cosmic connection. Before the break, we were diving into Aranaya's research.
Right.
And like those mysterious vessels.
Yeah, those vessels.
So where do we go from here?
Well, Aranaya, she doesn't stop there.
Okay.
She also highlights these intriguing figures she calls Lilith women.
Okay, Lilith women.
Yeah.
I am all ears.
Okay.
What's the connection to Lilith, like from mythology?
Right. So Lilith in mythology is often seen as a symbol of independence, rebellion, a deep connection to the forces of nature,
Right.
a figure who defies easy categories and embraces her own power.
So a bit of a rule breaker.
Yeah, a wild card.
A wild card, yeah.
And so how does that tie into these figures in the Voynich Manuscript? So remember those women emerging from the celestial vessels?
Yes.
Well, Aranaya noticed that these Lilith women, as she calls them, are depicted with legs only up to the knees.
Oh, interesting.
Right. It's like they're in this state of transition, emerging from the cosmic realm, but not fully grounded in the earthly one.
So they're neither fully celestial nor earthly, like they're straddling the realms.
Exactly.
Kind of like Lilith herself.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're between worlds.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't fit neatly into boxes.
Right.
And these Lilith women might represent a similar idea. They're intermediaries, messengers, maybe even embodiments of that raw energy that connects the heavens and earth.
Okay, so we've got these Lilith women emerging from the vessels, connecting realms.
Right.
What's like the next step in this cosmic dance?
Yeah. So Aranya noticed a section in the manuscript that is focused on stars and constellations.
Okay.
Almost like an astrological chart. And guess what?
What?
Those cylindrical vessels appear again.
Oh.
But this time it's like they're channeling star energy and water, maybe even seeds, down to a central point.
Wow.
It almost feels like a cosmic fertilization process.
Stars, water, seeds.
Yeah.
We're talking about like the creation of life itself?
It's possible.
Is the Voynich Manuscript like laying out a cosmic origin story?
It certainly seems that way.
Wow.
And remember the Lilith women, Aranaya noticed that later on in the manuscript, they're fully emerged from the vessels.
Oh, okay.
Their legs now reaching the ground.
Okay.
It's like they've completed their journey from the celestial realm and are now interacting with Earth.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
We start with like roots and vessels in the earth. Then it's off to the stars.
Right.
And these celestial women emerging from vessels.
Yeah.
And those women descend to earth. And now we've got stars and water creating something new.
It's like a cosmic recipe for life, all laid out in this mysterious manuscript.
Yeah. It is a recipe. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the whole structure of the manuscript reinforces this idea of interconnectedness, right?
It does.
It's not just like random pages.
No.
There's a deliberate flow.
It's a sequence.
A sequence taking us on this journey.
Yeah, it's a journey.
From one realm to another.
Exactly.
And back again.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Earlier you mentioned that Aranaya also like took a deep dive into that long text section of the manuscript.
Yes.
The one that's always felt like the biggest enigma.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did she find there?
Well, remember how we talked about those stars potentially representing individual celestial entities?
Right.
Well, in the long text, there are tons of stars.
Okay.
And Aranaya suggests that they themselves might be conveying messages or knowledge.
Hold on. Stars talking.
It might sound far out.
Yeah, it does.
But think about it.
Okay.
In lots of ancient cultures, stars weren't just distant balls of gas.
Right.
They were seen as deities.
Okay, ancestors, sources of wisdom.
That makes sense.
Right.
So maybe these stars in the manuscript aren't just decorations. They're like characters.
It's possible.
Each with a unique message.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to think about it.
But how could they communicate?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Maybe it's not a language that we can translate in a traditional way.
Okay.
What if it's a way of recording cosmic knowledge? Insights that go beyond human understanding.
Okay.
Right.
So this all ties back to that idea of the Voynich manuscript being created in Counison with another consciousness.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
What if those others
Uh-huh.
communicated through the stars?
It's possible.
What if they were the ones whispering those messages?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a really fascinating possibility.
Yeah.
Imagine if the original manuscript wasn't just a human creation,
Right.
but a product of collaboration with another realm or consciousness.
Right. So it would make sense that
That the language wouldn't fit into any framework we know.
Exactly. It's like trying to tune into a radio station from another planet.
Yeah.
Right? We might pick up the signal, but we wouldn't be able to understand the broadcast.
Exactly.
So it's not just about decoding words.
Right.
It's about tuning into a different frequency of consciousness.
Yeah.
A way of perceiving and communicating that might be beyond our current grasp.
Wow. So we're going from linguistic mysteries to cosmic consciousness.
That's what we do here
I love it.
on the deep dive.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Arnaya also points out the rhythmic, repetitive nature of the Voynich script.
Yes, she does.
She even describes like trying to capture the essence of the sounds in the manuscript.
Right.
So it's not just about reading it, but feeling it, like sensing the energy or rhythm.
Exactly. Think about mantras.
Right.
Right? They're often repeated not just for their meaning, but also for their sound and vibrational impact.
Yeah.
And they can create a shift in consciousness.
So the Voynich script, with its repetitions and rhythms, might be doing something similar.
Possible.
It's like a sonic key.
I love that.
Unlocking like a different level of understanding.
That's a beautiful way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just about the words themselves.
Right.
It's how they feel, how they sound, how they resonate within us.
Exactly.
It's like a language of the soul, a communication that bypasses our logical mind and speaks directly to something deeper.
Yeah, I love that.
That makes me want to hear what these sounds might be like.
Yeah.
Did Arnaya like record herself trying to vocalize the script?
She didn't make any recordings.
Okay.
But she does share her interpretation of the sounds based on her deep dive.
Okay.
She describes it as bugen foreign bugiri.
Bugen.
Yeah. And again, it's not a literal translation, but more of a feeling that she got while exploring the text. I even tried my hand at creating an expression using similar rhythms and phonetic qualities.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, here we go.
What did you come up with?
Lumai tenin vuanai sutar baniri.
Lumai.
Yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Thank you.
It really does have this like chant-like quality, a sense of mystery and depth.
Yeah.
I can almost feel the vibrations.
It's powerful, isn't it?
It is powerful, yeah.
It really highlights how the manuscript might not be about finding a direct translation, but about opening ourselves to a different way of experiencing language.
Yeah.
It's about the resonance, the rhythm, the feeling.
This whole conversation has me thinking about words and language in a totally new way.
That's great.
What if the key to understanding the Voynich manuscript isn't about finding the right dictionary or code, but about shifting our perspective of what language can be?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Yeah. It ties into a really fascinating observation that Arnaya makes about the repetition of certain words in the manuscript.
Okay.
So she noticed this pattern of a word appearing in its full form and then getting shorter and shorter again. Like it's being distilled down to its essence.
Like stripping a word down to its bare bones, its core meaning.
Yes, exactly. And it's not just about meaning, but also about the sound and energy of the word.
So it's not just reading words on a page, but feeling their essence, their vibration.
Exactly.
Like a sonic journey into the depths of language.
Yeah, I love that. And it reminds me of those plant roots in the manuscript. You know, those vessels connecting the earthly and celestial realms.
Right.
What if the roots of words are doing something similar?
Yeah.
What if they're the bridge between the physical form of language and its deeper, more subtle meaning?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like the roots of words are grounding us in the physical world, while their branches reach up to the heavens.
I love that imagery.
Connecting us to something larger.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Voynich manuscript is trying to do.
Yeah.
Show us the interconnectedness of everything, from the smallest word to the vastness of the cosmos.
Right.
It's a reminder that language is more than just a tool for communication.
Yeah.
It's a bridge between realms.
Right.
A way of weaving together meaning, sound, and vibration.
This has been like incredibly mind expanded.
I'm glad to hear it.
But I have to ask, if the Voynich manuscript is meant to be felt,
Yeah.
experienced, and intuited, rather than literally translated, how do we even approach it?
That's a great question.
It feels like we need a whole new set of tools and perspectives.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, Aranaya offers a practical way to engage with the manuscript's energy and explore its deeper layers of meaning.
Okay, we're back, and I'm ready to hear what this practical approach is. Is Aranaya suggesting we all learn to read the stars or something?
Not quite.
Okay.
But she does suggest a kind of game that reflects this idea of returning to essence that we see throughout the manuscript.
A game. All right, I'm all for making this interactive. How do we play?
Okay, so it's simple, but surprisingly profound.
Okay.
We take words from our own language, even everyday words, and we shorten them bit by bit.
Okay.
We pay attention to how the meaning changes, how the sound transforms, and what resonates with us along the way.
Okay.
It's like we're searching for the root of the word, both literally and symbolically.
Okay, give me an example. How would we play this word game?
Okay, so let's take the word knowing.
Okay, knowing.
We start with the full word, knowing.
Knowing.
Then we shorten it to know.
Okay.
Then just know.
Right.
And finally, just the letter O.
Whoa, I see how, like, the meaning shifts dramatically there. Knowing implies having knowledge. Then know becomes more about awareness.
Right.
Know is negation, absence.
Yeah.
And, that feels like pure potential, like a circle that can hold anything.
Exactly. It's like we're peeling away the layers, the complexities, and getting to the core of the word.
Right.
And notice how the sound transforms, too, becoming more primal, more resonant.
It's like a sonic distillation process.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Refining the word down to its purest form.
Exactly.
Okay, I want to try one.
Okay, let's do it.
How about flowing?
Okay, flowing becomes flow.
Right.
Then F-L.
F. And finally, O again.
Yeah. Interesting how we end up at the same root sound.
I know.
Even though the starting words were totally different.
It's interesting.
It's like there's this like underlying unity.
Yeah.
This convergence of meaning and sound.
Oh,
like all these different streams flowing back to a common source.
Which brings us right back to the heart of the Voynich manuscript, doesn't it? It does, yeah.
This sense of interconnectedness.
Yeah.
Everything is ultimately part of a larger whole.
This game is so simple, yet so powerful.
I know, right?
It's making me think about language in a way I never have before.
It's amazing how such a simple exercise can shift our perspective.
Okay, I have one more word I want to try, and it feels incredibly fitting.
Okay.
Given everything we've been discussing.
All right.
Counison.
Oh, perfect. Counison. Okay, let's see. Counison becomes Cunis.
Right.
Then Croony.
Okay.
Then Counison. And finally C.
See, the first letter of cosmos, of creation.
Yeah.
Of consciousness.
Wow.
It feels like a starting point, a seed of potential.
I love that. It brings us full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Back to the idea that the Voynich manuscript might have been created in a state of Counison with another consciousness, another way of being.
You know, that reminds me of another important point Aranaya makes. She suggests that the manuscript might not be meant to be fully deciphered in the traditional sense.
Right.
Maybe it's meant to inspire us, to explore the edges of our own knowing.
I love that.
To listen for those echoes of Counison within ourselves and the world around us.
That's beautifully put.
Maybe by playing this word game, by distilling words down to their essence, we're actually tuning into a different frequency, a way of understanding that goes beyond our usual ways of thinking.
I think you're right. It's about opening ourselves up to the possibility that meaning can be found in vibration, in resonance, in the spaces between the words.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the Voynich manuscript.
It's been quite a journey.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From linguistic puzzles to cosmic symbolism, the possibility of other realms of consciousness, and even new ways of experiencing language.
It's been mind-blowing.
What stands out to you as like the most significant takeaway from all this?
I think the most important thing is that there are still mysteries in the world.
Yeah.
That challenge everything we think we know.
Right.
The Voynich manuscript invites us to embrace the unknown, to question our assumptions, and to keep searching for those deeper connections that bind us to something larger than ourselves.
Absolutely. So To our listeners out there,
Yes.
we want to hear from you.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
What are your thoughts on the Voynich Manuscript?
Yeah.
What resonated with you the most?
Share your insights.
Share your insights, your questions,
Yeah.
and keep the conversation going.
Keep exploring.
Until next time.
Keep wondering.
Keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.